play harder than we will the rest of this season.
We hand off to Herschel. There's a hole. 5, 10, 12. He's running over the people. Oh, you Herschel Walker. My God almighty, he ran right through 2 men.
So this episode, I want us to do these every once in a while because every once in a while we're going to need shorter, just sweet, tight episodes. And my favorite thing about talking football with you is when I say something that pisses you off or something you feel strongly about, and you just roll on a 5-minute rant at one time. So I've got 5 topics. I'm going to give them to you. I just want you to rant on them, okay?
Dude, right now in my head, you know what song I'm listening to?
What?
Like, I'm not actually listening to music, but I feel like this episode, this is the song that's getting me ready for this episode.
It's like hyping you up.
Are you ready for this? Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
First topic.
Number 1.
Transfer portal.
Ooh. Zooey mama. Okay. Man, you know what? Let me call it. Transfer portal. Okay, first thoughts on transfer portal? Bullshit. And not for the reason that people think, because yes, I agree that people should be able to transfer. And I know like a lot of things we mess with each other about and we disagree about them, some things and we do. Well, I would say it's kind of crazy because I would consider you a great friend of mine and we disagree on pretty much like 80-90% of the stuff, like in every aspect of our life. So like seriously. Yeah. But this is what I would say about the transfer portal. It's bullshit because I feel like it should be universal. Either like I feel like, for example, Tate Martell, Justin Fields, stuff like that. Like, you know, these guys went to bigger schools. They got immediate eligibility. And then I guess the easiest one to talk about is Luke Ford for Georgia fans. Like, this man went to go like get closer to like his sick mom or like grandmother or something. And then like, they were just like, no, sorry, wait a year. And like, and so it's just like, I feel like there's gotta be certain, I don't know. I just think it's a bunch of bullshit. And like, I mean, it's just like, and then the guy from like West Carolina or something like that went to go transfer and his mom was like, had cancer or something like that. And they freaking, and then, you know, now you got kids who are just trying to make up stories to go. Like, for example, I mean, like the one kid from Florida last year was like talking about, I mean, this is a real reason, but I mean, his roommate like was like messing with some girl and got like, and she said he was sexually harassing him. But then the guy was like, oh, well, he was my roommate. And so that makes me not want to stay at the school. So I'm going to leave now. Like, when he really was going to leave anyway, because it was Chris Steele. And not only did this man leave, he left another school after that and was like talking about going to go to this school and then he was going to go to that school. He committed like 4 or 5 different times. So Chris Steele, you can suck my ass anyway. but that's how I feel about transfer portal. Transfer portal, it's a bunch of bullshit because the NCAA is a bunch of bullshit. And they need to get off their high horse and start making some legit rules. Maybe have like a committee of like, okay, here's my idea of transfer portal. You ready for this? Have like a committee, like the college football playoff committee, and then those people vote on the players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like non-biased voting on whether the player gets eligibility or not.
Yes, like non-biased, but like maybe have some old coaches in there, maybe have some old ADs, maybe have some like athletic, who knows? I don't know, but like get a couple people. I'm talking like, I don't know, maybe 9 people. And I think it should be that I think you should have like at least like 6 of the votes.
Yeah, that's good. I agree. Transfer portal needs to be more universal. I think to me it breaks down to like based on the school you're transferring from or transferring to is a large part of whether you get eligibility or not. Like Luke Ford was transferring to Illinois, so of course he didn't get eligibility. Like they don't care about Illinois. But Justin Fields transferring to Ohio State, Ryan Day, oh man, they pushed that through like super easy. Now, I understand Justin Fields was saying, like, you know, I don't feel safe because there were people using racial language in the stands and stuff. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you, like, at a school, there's somebody there that's like feels that way. You know what I mean? Like every school in the nation, there's some retard. Oh, probably shouldn't say that. Some idiot that feels that way. So like, for a fact, somebody's going to think that, be racist, whatever. But like, because he's going to Ohio State, he gets it. Tate Martell is going to Miami. He gets it. Like big popular schools tend to get them and smaller schools don't. And that just seems to be the way it is. And it seems to be all about who the NCAA wants to show favor to and who they don't. It's not.
Where they're going to get. Like, they think about it this way, bro. This is how the NCAA thinks it. You ready for it? Who's going to get me viewership?
Yep. Like, Illinois doesn't play in primetime games and they don't really have like big bowl stakes and stuff. I guess we'll screw Luke Ford over. Oh, Tate Martell is like a guy that stays in the limelight and people talk about all the time, and people are going to.
You know why people talk about Tate Martell?
Why?
Because his sister's got a fat ass. That is why.
Bro, on QB1, did it not seem like their relationship was a little weird?
Yeah, because
did you watch QB1?
I did. And look, let me tell you this. Why is Tate Martell? Yeah, it is. You know why? Yeah. Trust me, I know. I have a sister, and you know what?
Where's this going?
I was saying I have a sister, and I hate that bitch. That's where it was going. What did you think? Bro. I don't know how someone could be that close to their sister. I don't know how someone could be close to that close to their sister. No, bro. I'm not fucking Jamie and Cersei Lannister.
Tate Martell leads well into the next rant topic.
We're talking about Oompa Loompas?
No, we're talking about the big three. The three schools in Florida that are the big three. So let me hear your rant about the big three and why you really think it's only a big one.
Well, let me say this. I do think it's a big three. Let me just say this before I get into the other schools. UCF, fuck right off. You're a little brother. You guys haven't done shit. You have false national championships. No. Get out of here, okay?
Let's be fair. So does Alabama.
What do you mean?
Alabama has championships that they've claimed that they didn't actually win.
Yeah, a couple schools have that.
A lot of schools have that.
Like all this. Pretty much to me, I'm gonna say this. To me, if you won a national championship before like 1975, it's bullshit. Seriously. Really, honestly, like 19, like 80s. How many
people would be so mad at that?
Yeah, every Nebraska fan. Not really. Nebraska won in the 90s. Yeah, all of them. Georgia Tech, Harvard. Like, your shit doesn't count, people. I want to make that very clear. If you didn't win a national championship, I'm going to say the 80s, actually. I'm going to bump it up. If you want – no, because my parents are not – 75. That's my max. If you won a national championship in 75 in college football, basketball is different. College football – it doesn't count. Get over yourself. Okay. Alabama's also one. Alabama, that's a terrible example because Alabama's
big three.
Alabama. Big three. UCF suck my ass. Big three. Here's the reason with the big three. Number one, the reason that the big three got into prominence is because recruiting used to be so important statewide. It is still important to recruit in your own state, but players back then, college football, you weren't going to have – you didn't have the TV schedule like it is now. And like for instance, your parents can watch you play college football in Hawaii if you go play in Georgia, right? So but what my example for this is for Florida is that like a lot of kids want to stay home so their parents could watch them play. Yeah. And now that's starting to shift a little bit. However, these three programs come to prominence because one, kids still like to stay home. They grew up watching these teams because they're in the same state. Two, Florida is a freaking hotbed for talent. I think that, in my opinion, Florida is the best state for football as far as athletes. But I think Georgia's getting damn close, and I think Georgia's too. And I'd probably put like Texas, then California. California produces like good quarterbacks every now and then, but like other than that, get out of here with your California freaking head ass. Anyway, but the big three, obviously it goes back and forth. Every school has been, the big three each school has kind of struggled in the past, the past 5 years, because Florida had a down year, then FSU's had 2 down years the past season. Miami has had 2 down years during the season. So as a Florida fan, I like it because we up and coming, and the other ones are. But yeah, the big three. I mean, look, all good schools with good tradition. I like that. I wish that Florida play Miami every year because I just think that would be amazing. Because that way you could have a true Sunshine State champion. But yeah, I mean, I don't like the other schools like FSU, for instance. Like everyone knows that FSU, like if you can't get into Florida, you go to FSU, and like Miami doesn't even have their own fucking stadium. They go play at the Dolphins, which is 45 minutes away from their actual school. So, I mean, trash. And FSU, I mean, their colors are garbage. Orange and blue, dude, that's like
orange
tied.
and blue is literally my least favorite colors on earth together.
Hey, you just don't like that because you're a Bulldog fan.
Auburn, terrible. Florida, terrible. Like orange and blue is the worst.
But think about it. Yeah, okay, but tell me this way.
And actually, my high school colors were gold and crimson, so I kind of like FSU's colors.
Get out of here. And besides, let me tell you this. This is in this 2020 age. Are you going to put up with a Seminole as a – have you seen their mascot? It's racist.
Actually, bro.
Actually,
they donate money to the Seminole Nation.
I'm triggered, bro.
Year, actually.
Do they really do that?
Yeah, they do. You didn't know that?
Oh, no, I
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah, and if you go to Florida State and you're like full-blooded Seminole, you get a full scholarship.
Oh, I believe it. That's kind of cool. But let me tell you this, actually, and this is why Florida is superior. I'll make my bullet points and I'm done. Florida's superior. I mean, we are the most winningest. I mean, we're not the most winningest, but all of them are pretty winningest. But, okay, we're better now. Also, our stadium's the best because Miami doesn't even have their own stadium, and FSU's is –
Wait, Miami really doesn't have their own stadium?
No, they really don't have their own stadium.
How is that possible?
They play at the Dolphin Stadium, which is 45 to 50 minutes away.
That's insane.
Because they're a private school and that's what I'm saying. Miami, like everyone was messing jokes around with them because last year for their spring game and this year for their spring game, they had to play at a local high school because Miami, the Dolphins had like booked a concert at Hard Rock Stadium.
Bro.
Yeah, like it's freaking hilarious. So
that's a team that's won national championships.
Yeah, in the 80s. But it's also.
But I'm saying still like.
And their indoor practice facility is only 50 yards. Yeah, bro.
That's so crazy.
Reeks of poverty.
Unless
Coral Gables.
Okay, here's my input. First off, I didn't know about Miami. Unless Miami changes that, they're never going to be competitive again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They have to change that. Recruits are not going to go there when Florida and FSU have what they have. Second off, it's incredible that, and it really speaks to the caliber of talent in Florida, that there have been 3 schools within one state that have been as good in football as those 3 schools have been. And to be fair, Florida, and I could be wrong about this, I know Florida's had dominance in basketball, won national championships, been up there, but I feel like I've seen Miami, make runs into the
FSU has good. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But all 3 schools have been competitive in football and basketball
and baseball. All three schools are good at baseball.
That's crazy in one state that all 3 have been that good for that long. So it really speaks to the caliber of talent. The other thing I'd hit on that you said is about the high school football and athletes. To me, Florida is the number 1 state in the country for just pure athletes. I think when you start getting into stuff other than athletic ability, when you're talking about what makes somebody a good football player versus just an athlete, I think there are some states that compete there. But if you're talking about just dudes who can run fast, can jump, can catch, those sort of things, Florida is by far the like when I played college football on scholarship, and the best football player I ever played with was in college named Aramis Callaway. He was from Florida, and he straight up told me, he's like, I'm not even I wasn't top 5 guys in my high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He was unbelievably good, so good that it made me feel like, what am I doing playing football? That's how good this dude was.
Why is he here and I'm here at the same school?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
There's a couple guys like that for me too.
But yeah, Florida's definitely got a crazy pedigree in terms of athletes coming out of high school. Oh, all right, third one, and I know you got some in the chamber for this. Like I know you've got some material. Jim McElwain.
Oh my God, you knew how to fucking get at me. First of all. Fuck that horse teeth looking little bitch. That shark fucker horse teeth bitch. Listen to me. That man took Florida's program straight into the gutter, and it took a miracle. And it was
he won the East 2 years in a row.
Yeah, with Will Muschamp's players. Get out of here, dude. My dude. I could have talked if I could have put a headset and sunglasses on my ass cheeks, and they could have won the SEC East with those players. I could have just talked out my ass like I was Ace Ventura, and I would have coached that team to a. You know what? And you know what? This is another thing that made so much stuff started coming out afterwards about this guy, and it was like the strength and conditioning was terrible. He'd be like, "Yeah, just go work out." Like, what college kids are going to go do? Like, you're going to have half the kids do it and half the kids not. He told this one kid was like. They wanted him to gain weight, and guess what they told him to do? They were like, go eat eat 3 or 4 Big Macs a day, or like Whoppers or some shit like that. Like, that's what they told. Like, it was fucking ridiculous. Thank the Lord that that the skies opened up and Jesus and God put their hands on Dan Mullen and sent him to resurrect us.
But they still had him hire Todd Grantham.
Okay, but you know what? This is about Jim McElwain and Todd Grantham. He's got one more year for me, okay? One more year. And then I'll make an assessment. Because I can't really say much because our defense has been solid and we've won double-digit seasons in the past 2 years. So I'm just going to let it do what happened. I trust Stan, but look, Todd always shits the bed against Georgia, and if he does it again this year, then yes, I will have his head on the stake. But Jim McElwain, let me say this about him. He fucking blows.
Bro, Jim McElwain, it really shows like how down the East was those 2 years that he won back-to-back. Like, it shows like how far Mark Richt had slipped at Georgia, and like South Carolina obviously wasn't competitive at all for him to have won. Like, there was that year, Georgia, there was one of those years that Georgia needed, we needed Tennessee to beat somebody. I can't remember who it was, for us to win, and we just couldn't get it done. Like it was those 2 years those were the 2 years that I was like, something's got to change at Georgia. Like,
was it?
Oh, it was so bad. And then y'all wore those ugly uniforms while he was there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let me grab it real quick.
Do you have one of the jerseys?
You're talking about these? Talking about these, baby?
Why do you have that?
Because I thought, why not? You know what? I wasn't going to get it originally, but it was on clearance at Dick's.
Dude, it's so ugly.
Dude, you know what? If you're not a Gator, you're Gator bait.
Dude, please center that up for the camera good. For those of you who can't tell, that's supposed to be gator skin on a jersey.
This was a jersey.
Oh, it is so ugly, dude.
I think it's so ugly that it's cool.
Do you actually like those uniforms?
I mean, I don't want them to ever wear them again, but I do.
Would you ever wear that to a Florida game?
Maybe if I was hammered.
Aren't you hammered at every Florida game you go to?
Yeah, but not when I dress myself.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're not hammered at the point that you put clothes on.
Yeah, I got this crazy Hawaiian shirt that I wear but that's like when I know, like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go get hammered.
Bro, are we going to the Georgia-Florida game together this year?
No, I told you I'm not stepping foot in that stadium until Florida wins one. Oh. And you know what? Let me tell you about that stadium. It blows, okay? Because, number one, I've had nothing but terrible experiences there. And number two, the parking, it took me 3 hours to get out of downtown Jacksonville. Figured this shit out.
Okay, I remember you called me and you were like, I'm just getting out of Jacksonville.
Yes, bro. It was
And
ridiculous.
it was
No,
like,
I was just getting out of
so
downtown, and it was like, I know, bro. And it just puts me in a bad mood. Like,
you were already in a bad mood because y'all lost, but then you were in a worse mood because of traffic.
yeah, it literally like when I got home that night, I just like wanted to sit inside and in my bench, like, fuck,
Dude,
man,
believe me, I know. I've had so many nights after Georgia games where I'm like, why did I do this to myself? Why did I even
no, bro.
put this
I get so
energy
emotionally
into this?
invested. I scream at the TV. It's just fucking bad for my health. It's literally bad for
yeah.
my health. I think if I go bald at 30, it's because real estate and sports.
Okay, so we'll get to the next topic in a second, but this is something I thought about. So I've been playing FIFA Online a lot,
Yeah.
and my wife was like, "Do you even have fun playing that game?" I'm like,
FIFA?
"What are you talking about?" Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
"I'm like, what are you talking about?" Of course I have fun. She's like, "But all I ever hear you do is like yell and like cuss at it because like you're getting mad." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm getting mad, but like it's fun." Like, what is it about guys and girls that like we understand like I feel like girls don't understand like why we're into things like sports and games that make us that mad. Like my
Yeah,
wife
no,
would
they
just be
definitely
like,
don't.
"It makes me that mad, so I'm not gonna be interested in it."
They definitely don't. I was telling Derek this story. Video games I don't get mad at. Video games, like
Yeah.
I'm never like I'd be like,
bro,
ah,
I'll get furious at games. Like
because
I
you know what?
rate.
You know why I don't get mad at video games? Because I can just turn the Xbox off and just be like, oh, it's over. I also don't play that much video games, but like
when
I can't turn off my soul, my heart and soul that I put into my sports teams.
yeah, but when Georgia's whooping some gator tail, you can't just turn that off.
Yeah, fuck you.
Doesn't get rid of that reality.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The other night, well, not the other night, because gosh, I miss sports. But Derek's a Celtics fan. And I was fucking with him because the Rockets beat them in like double overtime. But Jaylen Brown hit this bullshit ass shot and to take it to the first overtime. And when it happened, Grace was sitting next to me and I was wearing my Houston gear. I was just like, yeah. And then I was like, we about to win this bitch. We came back. We were like down like 20. It was pretty dope. And it was a big game, especially for seeding. And he hit that shot and I literally got up and I was like, ah, fuck. And I went. And like my dog was barking and I like let him outside and I took the door and I slammed it and I cut my hand and I was like, fuck my life. And she was like, what is wrong with you? Like I was so mad. And I told her and she goes, she always is, whenever she watches sports with me, she's like, you are so dramatic. And like Jaylen Brown almost hit another bullshit ass shot in the second overtime, like literally like a buzzer beater to like win the game. And I was like, and I told her, I'm like, look, babe, I'm not even fucking with you. I think I might have fucking killed myself. Like if he would have made that shot, I think I would have fucking killed myself. I was so pissed. And it wasn't even a regular season.
You need to watch sports with my brother. My brother is the type to get that mad,
know.
Bro.
People,
dude,
no.
We've been watching Georgia before, and my brother literally, like, we're watching D1 athletes, okay? And my brother be like, this dude sucks. Like, I could tackle better than him. Like, I would never let that kid step on the field again. He's like losing his mind, and he's like, I'm not a fan no more. I hate this team. I'm done. Like, he'll be so mad, bro.
Bro, I'm so superstitious at home too, and like I wear even at home I wear the same underwear. Like if I'm in a certain position, it used to be like for a while I would drink orange juice while the Gators are playing because I thought it would help them win. And Charlie, shut up! And I used to drink orange juice and like I'd wear a certain jersey and I'd sit in a certain way and I would put the remotes like a certain way and like that and I like. And now, this past season, I had a bunch of friends come over and watch the LSU game with me. And there was, like, all of them. There was, like, girls. And, like, I was getting so involved because that game was so back and forth. And, like, I remember, like, I almost had, like, a fucking aneurysm, bro, because I, like, was so calm. And, like, I was so calm compared to what I usually do. And they thought I was crazy. Like, I remember, like, when we score a touchdown, I take her lap around my couch. I'm like, fuck yeah. And I, like, slap the wood beam that's like 9 foot tall, 10 foot tall on my ceiling. And like people thought I was crazy.
I like that you have that extra foot on there so people would know you can jump that high. Yeah, you're like,
you know what?
10 foot tall.
Look, not to gloat, but I could dunk in high school. So anyway, but
bro, none of that stuff. But why do you do that stuff? Because like You do that on games where y'all lose too.
Yeah, you know why? What, my superstition or when I jump around or when I run the
your
couch?
superstitions. Your superstitions.
Yeah. But you know what? I always think I always make an excuse for my superstitions. Like it's weird, bro. Like I'll be like, you know what? I didn't eat 3 eggs. I ate 2 eggs. Or like, oh my God, instead of I never touch my phone during games. I never touch my phone during games.
That's why you never text me back during games.
Yes.
I never knew. During Florida games, I'll be texting you. You won't text me back. I'm like, why is he not texting me?
Yeah, I don't text people. And first of all, because I'm not gonna respond to you because they'll make someone will make a good play and you'll be like, ooh, and be like, fuck you. You know what?
Bro, hold on. Let's be
You
honest
are pretty
here.
good during the games,
I'm
though.
super nice to you about Florida games and Florida losses and stuff. And you are not nice about Georgia.
Bro,
you are not.
Bro,
I'll be the nicest friend. You'll Florida lose a game. I'm like, oh man, that's tough. I'm sorry, buddy. I really hate it. Georgia losing, you'd be like, F you. That's because y'all suck. You're losing your mind about it.
Bro, it's not necessarily you. It's not necessarily you. I just grew up in Georgia and with all these Georgia fans, and those are the type of people I grew up against. That if Florida lost, they'd rub it in my face because when I was growing up, Florida was one of the best teams in college football. We were winning national championships. So when they lost, it was a big deal and everyone flipped out. I remember when we lost to Ole Miss, bro, people were like, you lost Ole Miss, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, but did you see the promise? It wasn't called the promise then, but I was like, did you
how much hate did you get after Tebow cried during the SEC championship game?
Bro, I got so much hate, and I want to shoot people for that. And I still, to this day, people bring up that picture. And you know what? It breaks my heart because if anyone that's actually played sports can't tell me,
100%
that they haven't their senior season when their goal was to win the national championship, and they realize they're not going to do that, bro. Do you know how big of a baby I cried on my last high school football game? I got in the locker room and cried my fucking eyes out.
100% agree. If you make fun of Tim Tebow crying or any athlete crying after a game, I don't know. I have nothing to say to you.
Yeah,
you're just an idiot.
Exactly.
What?
Idiot.
I coach high school football, and there are games that we've lost that I felt like crying, and I'm a coach. So, any player that cries, you get a pass. I don't care. You get a pass. All right, next rant. SEC bias.
Like
when people say that the NCAA and the college football playoff and ESPN has SEC bias.
You know what I say about that? It's warranted. Best fucking conference, baby. Look, that's the deal. They should be biased because you know what? We give you the most content. First of all, ESPN and all those guys should they're biased because who are the best teams in the country on a consistent basis? Who are on a for instance, yes, the SEC has we always would talk every year. You look at Ohio State's schedule, and there's 2 teams that you're maybe they could it's usually Michigan and Penn State.
Or you'll think they might drop that game to Indiana for some reason. They always
I know they always Purdue or something. Yeah. But it's always Ohio State's a little bit different, but you look at
Clemson. Who does
Clemson, exactly. Clemson. That's a great example. Clemson, you know what? Half the teams that oh my gosh. I mean Vanderbilt would be the freaking 3rd seed in the ACC or 2nd seed in the ACC. But that's what I'm saying is on a consistent basis, you are always going to have a good game on the SEC, or you're always going to see the best players. You're going to see the best games, and also the times that they're on are also better. Because first of all, Pac-12, who the hell wants to watch a game at freaking 1:00 in the morning? Nobody. And so the SEC and it's just everything about the SEC. People love football in the South. So, for instance, viewership is up. Any viewership is up on SEC games, so they have to be biased. NCAA has to be biased because it's their best product. The NCAA's best product is SEC college football, and then probably March Madness. Think about it.
It's true.
Those might toggle around, but and depending on who you are and or what, but those are literally like, so the bias is warranted. I don't like people like there's no case for there's not even a close second place to me. I think
Yeah, I agree.
it's always the SEC. It will always be the SEC because I mean, you look like teams that like Tennessee won like what 6 games last year, and they had the number 2 recruiting class next year.
Yeah.
And like South Carolina, who's just complete ass, they recruit at a high level. And Vanderbilt, who's just booty cheeks, would still go whoop up on, teams in the Pac-12 and all that other stuff. So that's what, and like, you really think about it, in the SEC, the teams are never at the bottom long.
Yep.
You'll have, like the only teams that are there's only really one team that's consistently not good in the SEC. One, and that's Vanderbilt. That's it. Think about everybody else. Ole Miss had good years. Mississippi State's had good years. Mizzou's had great years. Tennessee's won national championship. And think about it this way. You've had Alabama win national championships. You've had Georgia win national championships. You've had Florida win national championships. You've had Tennessee win national championships. Auburn win national championships. Texas A&M win national championships. LSU win national championships. And you have the most money. Like, the SEC is warranted, bro. Like, I don't understand people who don't think that way. And you could take, I think the SEC this year in bowl games maybe lost I always keep track of it, but I think they didn't. They had the best winning record. I know that. Yeah. I think they maybe only lost out of the 12 or 13. They had the most teams go to bowl games in the first place. Then they also had the highest winning percentage for bowl games. So, and I'm trying to think of any of the Big Ten.
Matches. To me, it's super simple. There are 3 reasons the SEC is the best conference in college football, bar none. Recruiting, coaching, results, period. They recruit the best players. The best players tend to go to SEC schools. They have the best. If you don't think the SEC has the best coaches in college football conference-wise right now,
yeah, you're crazy.
You're crazy. It's easily the best coaches in the country in the SEC. And results, like you said, how many national championships the SEC won? How many times has an SEC school in the last 20 years lost in the national championship to a non-conference opponent? So it's 2020 since 2000. How many times have they been in it, and how many times have they lost to a non-conference opponent?
I wouldn't even know.
Alabama won a national championship in a year that they lost to Ole Miss.
Yeah. Florida won it. Florida's never had an undefeated season.
But that's what I'm saying. So, you've got teams in the SEC that are beating national title winners.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis. It's not like this one-off year where the champion was an SEC championship and they lost in the regular season to an in-conference opponent. It happens with pretty regularity. And at the end of the day, SEC schools tend to spend more money than any other conference. So, of course, they have the best teams.
So now, I'm looking at
Ohio State is a standout, obviously, but who else in the Big Ten can compete? Clemson is obviously a standout, but who else in the ACC can compete? In the SEC going into next year, you have 4 teams that are legitimate national title contenders. LSU, still going to be a contender. Alabama, Georgia, and Florida are all 4 real deal contenders in the SEC. The SEC is so dominant that 2 teams left the Big 12 to be in the SEC. Mizzou and Texas A&M literally said, we don't want to play this little baby, boy garbage ball anymore. We want to go play with the big boys. There's no and people say oh, well, the bottom teams aren't that good. Yeah, Vandy's terrible, but Vandy also doesn't spend money on football. But the gap between Vandy and Kentucky is a big gap.
Yeah, even Kentucky.
Big gap. That's what I'm saying. So to me, it's pure jealousy when people are like, no, the Big Ten's as good as the SEC. Not even close. Not even close.
And
It's
you
not
look
even
at like
close.
the coaches thing. I was looking at a list. SEC, even if you look at a list, there people are even your, like in my opinion, I think the SEC has like probably
Also,
like in the
Ryan
like
Day. People are like, Ryan Day's a great coach. He got handed a program by arguably the
greatest
second best coach ever, other than Nick Saban.
Yeah, exactly.
He got handed a program. And he was under that. It wasn't like Jim McElwain came in after Muschamp where this coach had nothing to do with this coach. Ryan Day learned under Urban Meyer and spent time in that program, already knew the guys had a relationship. So
it's like Lincoln Riley with Bob Stoops.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Lincoln Riley's still a good coach, but
he is. He's an offensive wizard. I'll watch. Dude, you need to do this. If you just watch his play design, he's got some insane schemes and stuff that he does that I've never seen other people do. I mean, is really incredible. But you got a handful of guys that are outside the SEC that are top caliber coaches. That's just the truth.
Do you though? I mean, you do, but you like. I mean, Dabo Sweeney's it, but yeah.
I know what you mean. All right, last one. And you already know what's coming.
Do I?
Georgia.
All right, I'm sure you'll have lots of rebuttal here. Okay, you know what? I don't know if I'm trying to think of the word. So I definitely hate Georgia. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know how to explain it's so hard because Georgia, as a state, it's a great state. Love it. Grew up there. But the football team, the Georgia Bulldogs, let me say this. I think it's, first of all, I will tell you this. I remember when I really thought Georgia was going to enter the national championship against Alabama. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like calling my dad I remember calling my dad and saying, he's like, Georgia's going to win. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm going to have to live in a world where Georgia has won a national championship. And I just sat there and was fucking depressed for solid 5-10 minutes. And then Alabama, and I was like, there was hope for Alabama and they started to come back a little bit, but I didn't still think they were going to win. And then when Alabama beat Georgia and they won the national championship, it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't as good. I mean, there's never going to be a feeling as, I would say it was almost like, this is how strong my hate is for Georgia. It was almost like my team won a national championship because Georgia lost. Now, it wasn't like that necessarily because if Florida won a national championship, I would cry, bro. When I see them win another national championship again, I'm gonna just be overcome with just emotions and joy because we went from the top to the fucking very bottom, and if we get back to the top again, I've been through it all. I put my heart and soul into this shit. But Georgia, when I saw that, I was so happy. I remember calling my friends that were Alabama friends and be like, yeah, fuck yeah. I got a noise complaint in my apartment. They thought that I was beating up my girlfriend or something. And I was like, no, I just was so happy because Georgia lost football. Literally, I got a letter in the mail and they came and knocked on my door the next morning. And I just think that, look, I do have respect for Georgia. But I do think that I have bias sometimes against Georgia, for sure. But some of the things I say, I just like to fuck with you because I think it's funny.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
And I know you get triggered so easy.
Oh man, but you're the only person that triggers me that way. Because I know you're doing it. Just no, not that. I just know that it's pure hate from you. It has nothing to do with whether you actually think it or not. It's just pure, unadulterated hate.
100%. To be honest with you, I like Mark Richt. I never really had a problem with Mark Richt. I don't like Kirby. I just think his look, he just looks fucking stupid to me.
That's how I feel about Dan Mullen. God.
But and they're both goofy motherfuckers too, which is the funny thing.
100%. 100%.
But Georgia, look, this is the thing. I will say this. As long no Georgia fan is ever going to get to me for the one reason and one reason only. Because all I have to say to them is this: 1980. That's all I got to say. Because I know I have that in my back pocket, and I'm going to hold on to that for as long as I can, because I do think that Georgia will win a national championship by the time I die. So I mean, look, if I can just hold on, I'm going to hold on till 1980 for as long as possible. I'm just going to hope that before Georgia wins the national championship, that Florida wins them before or soon thereafter.
Bro.
But I do respect the rivalry. I respect the rivalry. I think it's one of the most underrated. I think the Florida-Georgia game is people talk about, Army, Navy, Ohio State, Michigan, other stuff like that. I think the Florida-Georgia game is one of the most underrated rivalries, in the sense that I think it's like a top 3. I think it's a top 5 college football rivalry, especially in the coming years. But
what's funny is I didn't hate Florida until we got close, till we became friends. Like, I didn't like Florida, but I liked Tim Tebow when he was there, and I always wanted Florida to win the national championship when they were there. Like when Tim Tebow lost to Alabama and he cried on the sidelines, I was genuinely upset and sad that he lost that way. And all that's gone. I will never, ever, ever for the rest of my life lament a Florida loss. If Florida lost every game for the rest of my life, that would be great.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because it's
solely because of Parker Gailey. That is the only reason. You hate Georgia so much, but you wanted Alabama to beat us in the national championship, but Alabama literally stole a national championship from you guys. They embarrassed y'all in the SEC championship, made Tim Tebow cry, and went on to win a national championship, but you hate us more. That makes literally no sense.
There's no team in college football that I enjoy seeing lose more than the Georgia Bulldogs.
You know what? That's fine, because that's how lots of people feel. That's how Georgia Tech fans feel. That seems to be how Tennessee fans feel at times. That seems to be how Florida fans feel.
Well, a lot of Florida –
bro, I've noticed a lot of people that aren't even SEC people just hate Georgia. Well, I'm like, what did we ever do to y'all? We didn't –
people, I just think – I don't know. People, Georgia's Georgia, but another thing is that I just think that a lot of people who grew up in Florida, when you ask them who their number one rival, a lot of Florida Gator fans would tell you their number one rival is the Seminoles.
Yeah.
Right. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it's 1A, 1B, but if I had
you grew up in Georgia, so.
But I grew up in Georgia, so my hate just goes deeper than that, bro. And And I don't know. I mean, so let me ask you this though, because you used to tell me this argument, because especially last year, because I told you this is how bad I freaking don't like Georgia, because I'm totally SEC through and through. Yep. But I told you I root for every single SEC football team in their bowl game except Georgia.
Yeah.
But it also depends on who Georgia's playing though, because
you don't want SEC to get embarrassed.
Correct. Hindsight, this year I wanted them to beat it's kind of a win-win for me, because I still think it's funny if Georgia loses, but at the same time, I want them to win, because if we lose to Baylor, then you hear people Georgia's the second best team in the net. It also depends on how Georgia does that year, because if Georgia's the second best team in the SEC or the third, then I want them to win their bowl game, because it makes the SEC look better. But last year against Texas, I wanted them to lose going into the game, but now that I see some of the Texas fan, I think Sam Ellinger, every time I see that video of we're back, I think it's the most annoying video ever. And I kind of like Texas. And I like Texas. I just think that video is annoying.
He's so annoying, bro. He's so annoying. Here's my thing. There are 2 teams in the SEC that I don't want to win a single game ever anymore. Ever, ever, ever. There used to be one. There used to be one single team in the SEC that I hoped would lose every game. And that was Auburn. But now, the orange and blue.
Okay, I got a
Florida
question
and
for-
Auburn, I hope both teams lose every single game.
Who are you rooting for this year in the Auburn Florida game? Like, if you had to pick someone, like,
If I had to pick,
yeah,
oh, man. I actually texted you that day, and we were talking about it. I was like, I hope that a comet lands right in the middle of the stadium.
and the world ends. Like, you're like, I hope the world ends.
Yeah,
That was so
I think
funny.
I even set it up. I was like, I hope that it's like tie ball game or Auburn's up by like 1 with 1 second to go. Florida drops back, throws a Hail Mary. It looks like he's going to catch it, and then a comet hits the middle of the field. That's
Well, who
hard.
would you pick?
It would
You gotta
probably
pick.
depend. It would probably depend on the year. Last year, I would have loved it if y'all lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved it if y'all lost last year, because we get a chance to play both of you every year. So if Auburn beat you and we beat you and then we beat Auburn also, that would be like.
I think it also depends, like, for me, like, for instance, like, if you were to ask me who would I rather win, FSU or Georgia? Like, it also depends on, like let's say Georgia's 8-4 and they don't have a chance to win. Like, I don't know how to
It
explain
depends on stuff like that too, because it's hard with Georgia and Florida because we're in the East together. So y'all beating Auburn could affect us.
Correct, but with Florida State, it wouldn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah. So
and there's no other team I hate in the SEC. I mean, Tennessee.
like this year, for example, we beat y'all right in head to head. But if y'all but we lost to South Carolina.
But if we would have beat LSU, well, no.
No, if we would have, let's say we lost to Auburn, but y'all beat them, then we would not make it. So I needed y'all to lose at least 2 SEC games.
Which we did, you and LSU. But it doesn't matter. Every year it's going to come down to the game in Jacksonville. Because it used to be like, okay, maybe Georgia will slip on this game or Florida will slip on that game. But now it's just like, it doesn't matter. Because, like, yeah, we might lose one, but there's not going to be – like, it's really going to come down to head-to-head. Because at the same time, think about it this way. If Florida loses – let's say Georgia loses to South Carolina and Florida goes undefeated but then loses to Georgia, Georgia automatically goes to SEC championship and vice versa. So it's like – so yeah, I mean,
head to head for I think the next long while, because I don't think unless Dan Mullen just can't ever win, like if Dan Mullen can't win the East, eventually I guess he'll go, or if Kirby starts to lose the East every year, he'll go. But for the most part, I think it's going to be back and forth between Georgia and Florida for the East for the foreseeable future. Like, yeah, Jeremy Pruitt's got a good recruiting class right now, but come on, bro, it's May.
I think it'll go – I think you're going to have – I think the next 2 years – I mean, I say this fucking every year, but I actually do believe it. I think Florida won the next 2 years. I think it'll be like 2 – it won't be like a 1-1-1. I think it's going to be like 2-2-1, 2-3-1. Like, it's going to be weird. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Dude, that shows you how thirsty Tennessee fans are for some success that they're – celebrating a recruiting class in May.
Oh, yeah. Dude, like, I don't even take recruiting seriously until the end of the season.
Bro, Florida Twitter is something else, bro. Florida Twitter is a gang. Like, they will gang up on people and, like, it's crazy.
Dude, we come after you, bro.
It's crazy. Y'all are some internet warriors, some keyboard warriors.
We have family, bro.
All right, bro. I know you got to get ready to pack up to come up north to see your favorite state, Georgia. So
the Bulldog. I actually, Georgia is a great state. It's just some Bulldogs, man.
It's even better because of the football team this year.
Yeah, Georgia Tech.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you later on, man.
All right, man. See you.
See you, brother.